grandmother treated every grandchild like they were made of gold, except for me. On her deathbed, she finally told me why. I was 9 years old when I first realized the coldness wasn't what it seemed. I got up in the middle of the night and heard sobbing from downstairs. I crept to the top of the stairs and saw my grandmother alone in the living room, clutching a framed photo to her chest. When she pulled it back, I saw my own face staring up at her. She kissed the glass and whispered something I couldn't hear. The next morning, she wouldn't look at me. I told my mother what I saw and her face went white. She said I must have been dreaming and changed the subject so fast it gave me whiplash. I didn't believe her. From that night on, I started paying attention to everything. Over the years, I collected more moments like that, puzzle pieces that refused to fit together. At my high school graduation, I walked across the stage and looked out at the crowd and saw my grandmother in the back row, far from where my cousins were cheering. She was crying, not happy tears, the kind of crying you do when something hurts too much to hold in. At Christmas, she gave my cousins handmade quilts with their names embroidered in the corners and handed me a gift card without a note. But that night, I pressed my ear to her bedroom door and heard her sobbing on the other side. When I got engaged, I overheard her telling my mother, "I can't go to that wedding," and my mother hissed, "You have to, or people will talk," and they went silent when they saw me. I asked my mother point blank what the hell was going on between us. She said grandma was just difficult and left it at that. Nobody would give me a straight answer, but I knew something was being kept from me. When she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, relatives flew in from everywhere to say goodbye. I almost didn't go. My husband watched me pack and said, "Why do you keep doing this to yourself?" And I said, "Because this might be my last chance to find out the truth." The first night I was there, I couldn't sleep, so I walked downstairs to get water. I stopped in the hallway when I heard my mother's voice coming from my grandmother's room, tight and furious. "You have to tell her, you're running out of time." My grandmother's voice was weak but stubborn. "I can't. It would destroy everything." "You're dying," my mother said. "If you don't tell her now, she'll never know. Is that what you want?" My grandmother started crying. "I was trying to protect her." "You were protecting yourself," my mother shot back. "And you're out of time." There was a long silence. Then my grandmother's voice came out so quiet, I barely heard it. "What if she hates me? Then at least she'll hate you for the right reasons." I stood frozen in that hallway with my heart pounding against my ribs. I didn't know what secret they were talking about, but I knew it was about me and that I was finally going to get an answer. The next morning, I watched my cousins take turns at her bedside, holding her hand, reading poems she'd written for them when they were born, playing songs she used to sing them to sleep. She smiled at them and told them she loved them and thanked them for being part of her life. I stood in the back with my arms crossed because I didn't have memories like that. No poems, no songs, no warmth, just 30 years of tight smiles and silence. I was about to leave when my mother grabbed my arm. Her eyes were red and swollen. "She wants to talk to you," she whispered. "Alone, go." The room emptied. I walked to the bed and my grandmother grabbed my hand hard enough to leave marks. "I need to tell you something," she said. Her voice was barely there. "When I was 44, I got pregnant." I stared at her. "What?" "Not your grandfather's baby. Another man's." Tears started sliding down her temples into her white hair. I couldn't keep her. I couldn't explain her. Your mother had just gotten married. She wanted a baby so badly, and I had one I couldn't claim. My stomach dropped. "Grandma, what are you saying?" She looked at me with so much grief I could barely stand it. I gave her my baby. I handed her over and watched her grow up calling someone else mom. And I spent 30 years pretending to be the grandmother because I was too much of a coward to be the mother. I couldn't breathe. "That baby, that's me. You're talking about me." She squeezed my hand against her chest. "Every time I looked at you, I wanted to tell you. Every single time. But I was so scared you'd hate me." Her monitors started beeping faster. "You were never the one I loved least. You were the one I loved most. I just couldn't show it." A nurse rushed in. My grandmother's eyes locked onto mine. "That photo," she whispered. "Every night. I kissed it every night." Her grip went slack and she was gone. I stood there remembering myself at 9 years old, crouched at the top of the stairs, watching my grandmother sob over a picture I didn't understand. 30 years later, I finally did.